I guess we're ready to start. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Michael Fischer, President and CEO of Client First Financial, and today we're going to be talking about legacy planning. But before we go down there, I am from the great state of Pennsylvania, which is a swing state, which means I get 459,000 text messages a day telling me to get money to Ted Cruz, Harris, Trump, you name it, I'm getting it. But anyhow, I'll be glad when this is all over. But anyhow, I wanted to start off today by, it's my clicker. I'm going to start today by getting this to work. And I'm going to go backwards. Okay, let me give you a little background as to why I'm going to be talking about legacy planning. I've been in the industry, it'll be 37 years this coming February. My expertise has been primarily in pre-retirement planning. In particular, most of my career has been involved with the public school employees retirement system in Pennsylvania. All the school teachers have the same pension, so that's been a big part of my focus. But it's been moving more and more towards legacy planning as my clients have gotten older and their needs have changed. Client First Financial, I founded this in 2011, and again, my focus has been moving more and more towards this legacy planning because of what I've been witnessing, what's going on in with my clients and with just the world in general, with us all getting older. I currently have, when we did this slide, it was 255 million of assets under management. It's about 263 now. Good markets have a way to make things look better. But the reason I'm showing you that is most of my business is on platform, about 70%, and I clear through NFS. But one other area that really started making me look towards legacy planning was that of my clients' average age is 64. So, as my clients were getting older, I found out that they were inheriting money from their parents. And one of the things that I was noticing were they were starting to bicker with their siblings about the craziest stuff. It was minor things that you wouldn't think would cause a problem were starting to become more and more of an issue. But then as my clients were getting older and as they were passing away, I also realized I wasn't doing a very good job of keeping those assets. They were walking out the door. And there was a reason for that. My clients didn't have any clear-cut communication. How do I tell my family what I want them to do with their my assets that they're going to be inheriting? So families were splitting apart, and I have two examples, and this was really kind of interesting and crazy at the same time. I had a client who told me he had it all taken care of. Everything in his side of the family is fine, and then he tells me a story about his father, who was a Korean vet, well decorated, and when he passed away, they had the American flag draped over his coffin. So then they folded it up and gave it to his mother, who proudly had that flag on the mantle in their family room for 30 years. Well, when she passed away, my client thought he was going to get the flag, but his nephew took the flag. And that got him all bent. He hasn't talked to his nephew since. Now, that was about 10 years ago. And my client's like 80. How old do you think the nephew is? He's like 60. So something as little as that caused this tremendous breakup in the family. And then another case where my good friend's parents died within 5 weeks of each other. And one of the siblings went into the house in the middle of the night and took stuff out of the house without asking anyone. Needless to say, she's not on the Christmas card list anymore in that family. So when I started noticing these things, I said, how can we go about changing that? Hold on a second here. Come on, you fuck. I decided I was going to take a step back. One of the things that we focus on in this industry is we're always talking about solutions. And I went and took the BFA course, Behavioral Financial Advisor. It's a fabulous course because it got me to start to think about what is a person's principal values and beliefs. And once you have that down, and once you know what your client's principal values and beliefs are, you then can start putting together plans that take that into consideration. Because there's one thing about a legacy that y'all have to understand. We all have a legacy, whether you think so or not. All a legacy is, it's how you are known and how you want to be remembered. Well, if we don't start talking to clients about what matters to you most, what are your principal values and beliefs, we're kind of missing the picture because we're always focusing on the end game, which is the solution. And then the last thing is, we need to do a better job in having our clients communicate how they want their assets, their estate, their legacies to get passed on. So the family meeting is going to be a very important aspect of this whole process. So sometimes people ask me, what's the difference between estate planning and legacy planning? Estate planning is focused on solutions, where you're talking about wills, trust, certain types of products, certain types of concepts to try to avoid, taxes or passing assets down. Legacy planning is more of a holistic approach, understanding what is most important to those clients and how they want to make things better for their families down the road, or charities, or whatever is important to them. And it also gets the clients to engage and reflect. What is it that you want to be remembered for? And again, once you start focusing on that, you'll find that the opportunities become much more prevalent, because you're now taking a different look. You're not talking about the living trust. You're not talking about, the annuity that will guarantee your life until you're 108 years old, things like that. But by doing this process the proper way, you're going to have a better chance of retaining assets. And the reason you're going to retain those assets is because you're going to get to know the families a little bit better. In a way, you get to then keep that second generation. But it also gives you new opportunities as well. One topic or one solution that has come to mind has come about because of the change of IRAs. As we all know, when you pass away, your kids inherit your IRA. What happens then? They got 10 years to burn through the money. Say you got Jimmy and Dorothy, your kids, who earn $1 but like to spend $3. How can you get them to inherit money, but you can still control it? This works for IRAs where the people don't really need the income. But what you can do with that IRA, let's just use $2 million as an example. You can put that into a single premium immediate annuity. And by doing that, it's guaranteed for life for one or two of the spouses. And then you take that money, you pay the tax, and you put it into an irrevocable life insurance trust. For how much? $2 million. So what ends up happening? Well, number one, when they both pass away, if it's a husband-wife, IRA's gone, right? But now you have a $2 million asset that's out of the estate, avoids inheritance tax, and now you can control it if you have a kid or children who aren't really financially responsible. So it's a concept that's been around a long time, but a lot of people didn't like using it because, well, you could always stretch an IRA. We can't do that anymore, and I don't think that's going to come back, that we'll be allowed to do that. At least I don't think so. The other thing that it allows you to do, you can start becoming, if your clients are charitable, start looking into using and setting up donor-advised funds. It's something that it's offered here on our platform, and what the donor-advised fund will do, if you have a client who has a highly appreciated stock, they can't get rid of it. So, and if they had a big sale of a major asset, they could get hit with taxes. You can set up a donor-advised fund, which gives them the deduction today. If they can't use all the deduction today, they can spread it over the next 5 years, so eventually they'll get the whole thing. But now it allows them to give a much bigger and greater gift to an organization or organizations that they feel most important about. It also allows them to do it anonymously, and after they pass away, it'll stay with the foundation. You can set it up that way. So now they have a legacy that goes on forever and ever and ever. So is that important? Well, if you know how to get the client's principal values and beliefs, this is an excellent opportunity. And there's others. I'm just giving us two to give us some thought on how these opportunities can arise by going down this type of planning. So, what kinds of tools and products do we have available? Well, one is the BFA. Has anyone here done the BFA program? All right, so then you know what this is, all right? The principal values and beliefs cards. If I were to ask you right now, can you tell me your 5 principal values and beliefs? I bet you most of you would say, yeah, that's the answer I normally get, nothing. So this exercise, and this is an exercise you can do at client presentations, is getting people to think, what are your principal values and beliefs? Is it family, health, loyalty, being philanthropic, integrity? I just gave you mine, but it's something that gets people thinking. And if you have a husband and wife that you do this practice for in your office, you'll be amazed at what kind of things come out of it. New opportunities will come out just by doing something like this, but go through the program just to get an idea of what it's all about. I think it's perfect for legacy planning, but you can use it in a lot of different concepts as well. The next one, our good friends at Equitable have a seminar called Sharing Your Love. In this, they go over everything and anything that you should have available to the family so that they know what's going on. And also, it talks about the family meeting. Why the family meeting is so important and why this is so important. People need to know their roles in what things are going to happen when they're doing the final planning for their parents' estates. Have you ever heard, my kids know everything, I have all the important papers in the gun safe down in the basement, and Bob knows where the key is, or the combo. I go, well, that's all fine and dandy, but does Bob really know what it takes to be an executor of an estate? And who's going to be in charge of making the medical decisions? And do they know what that role is? And for those who aren't involved, you know, like your brother who lives in California and you're in Pennsylvania and he's wondering where his dough is because mom died 9 months ago, where is it? Setting the expectations by doing the family meeting will lower all that tension if everyone knows what roles they have. And this is an excellent guide. You don't have to use it page to page, thoroughly, but it makes you think. It goes over all kinds of things. And one of the other areas that it touches on is the ethical will. A lot of people never heard of the ethical will, but those are some questions that you should ask yourself, like, how do I want to be remembered? Or I'm most proud of. Or I want you kids to use your inheritance towards this or for that. When you have that family meeting and you express that, you can just see the tension going away because everyone knows what's going on and what their role is. So it's another tool that we have here, and the booth's right there if you want to find out some more. And then finally, I talked about the donor advised funds. We have 3 different advised funds. Persian has 3, NFS has 3. So the one I've used and found very helpful is the one through American Endowment Foundation. Very good program, and it's something that will allow you to keep assets because, like I said, they're sticky and they have a low minimum, and their fees are a lot lower than if you went to a community foundation in your area because they're all over the place actually. So I guess some of the key takeaways I have regarding this are: let's stop thinking about solutions and start thinking more about people's principal values and beliefs, and let's start really focusing on having that family meeting, and that's something that you can dictate and control if you do it right. You can have these family meetings wherever you feel most comfortable, and also you may want to have some key stakeholders there, like the attorney or the accountant, but if you have those folks there, you want to control the meeting because they'll have a tendency to get more towards the solutions, and you got to pull them back going more towards the real cause and the real concerns and that the client wants, you know, what's important to them. So with that, are there any questions? Yes?
Go about establishing, putting on the calendar a successful family meeting.
Okay, so the question is, how do you control, where do you have the family meeting? Okay, so that's going to be between you and the client. Some clients might say, hey, can we have it at our house? Others might say, can we have it at your office? Some, remember, Johnny lives in California. You may want to do some of it by Zoom. But so it's really up to how you and the client decide how you want to do it. All right?
You have several meetings, let's say the parents and children, you have a preliminary meeting.
I have not had preliminary meetings with the clients, yes, but not the kids. We tell all the kids about it. We will introduce by shooting out an email saying, look, we're going to have a meeting to go over the legacy planning that we've done for your parents, and here's where they have decided to have it. I'll tell you, a good time of year is Thanksgiving. Everyone seems to come in, and what are you doing that Friday anyway? I mean, I'm sure there's plenty to do, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah. And the week between Christmas and New Year's is also a time that a lot of families come in from out of town. But that's for you guys to decide. Yes?
So with regards to, do you recommend doing something like the share your love with the client first, going through that conversation as the lead-in to having a family or suggesting a family meeting?
I want to know the principal values and beliefs first. Okay? Because I want to understand, and it's funny, I did this recently, and I didn't know my one client was very, very religious, because that was one of her beliefs. She's been a client of mine for 18 years. Never knew that. So now it's going to turn my focus more on, okay, so religion's very important to you, and she had a few other things. Now the husband, that wasn't his. So I'll focus more on helping her. How can she give to the religious organization that she believes in? And so that'll be part of it. So this is first. Then talking about the guide was the second thing I did, because this is the stuff that you need to take into account when you're putting together that legacy plan. And this seminar is also a good one to do in a lot of groups, because it really, sharing your love. Okay, that's the name of it. It's only like a 20-minute seminar, but it's very, very good, and it's
Equitable?
Equitable, yes. All right. And look, I'm not putting in a plug for Equitable. That's just very good, all right? And I like my internal wholesaler. Anyhow, go ahead.
Typically our relationships are with the mom and dad. What are you doing to establish and maintain relationships with the children? At the end of the day, that's where the money's going to go. So how are we connecting with them? Other than just a family meeting, but what more can you do to get that money to stay?
Well, see, once you get to know the kids and they understand what you've done for mom and dad, you're starting to build that relationship, all right? They may just say, hey, by the way, can you help us? I found that more and more because I've gotten to know them. They know what I'm trying to do. They see that, hey, you're really helping us overall. I don't get that from my person that I'm using. Now, look, it's not 100%, but it's a lot better than what I had before, which, was hit and miss, like most of us have. Any other questions? Yes?
Have you done this for your family?
Have I done it for my family? You know what? I haven't had my family meeting yet. My daughter's 22. But I did a blog. I asked my kid, what are you proud of? She told me. I was so happy. She's a Penn State fan, like I am. I was ecstatic. No, but she also said things like, you taught me never to give up, to save money. What's that? And work hard. So I was very surprising. So I haven't done it yet. She's only 22, but you know what? I can get hit by a train tomorrow. So there's no reason for me not to. But I did the principal values and beliefs. I did the share your love guide, and I've done those things. So that's the next one I have to do. Yes? What's that? What were the companies? Well, the one I use is called the American Endowment Foundation. And if you stop by their booth today, they will give $3 towards breast cancer. Am I right? Thank you. They're in the back of the room. They're very helpful in getting you up and running. Now, look, there's others, but I found them to be very helpful. So, again, and they're giving $3 towards a good cause. Yes?
Do they provide you any planning ideas or help you with anything else?
No, they have not given me any planning ideas. I actually, I'm very charitable to begin with, and I had my own donor advised fund through a local community foundation because I didn't know about this. And so I already knew a lot of the planning, being involved in that space. So I didn't ask them, but I'm sure we have our our home office has the advanced high net worth solutions that you can go and find things through them, I'm sure. I just haven't found it, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I've been doing this pretty much on my own. I've had help with my coach who has guided me. If you have a desire to get into this type of planning, may I make a suggestion? Why should we all do it alone? We could form a group where we can come together. You may find something from, I don't know, pick a company, Prudential, who has something really cool that would be part of legacy planning. And that would be something that we could get together, our community of legacy advisors. It's just something I was thinking about this morning as I was taking the walk from my hotel room to here, about 45 minutes to kill. So, it's something, if you're interested, just let's meet afterwards and we'll come up with some idea, okay? Any other questions at all? Yes?
I just want to make sure on the opening idea that you had on the IRA rule and the SPIA ILET, were you talking about the couple that was inheriting the IRAs from their parents? Like, you're talking about the parents that were dying in the 80s and 90s now, and that couple's in their 60s?
No, I'm talking about the couple who has like a $2 million IRA. Like today's 60 and 7-year-olds, it's not unheard of to see $1 million or $2 million IRA, all right? Because since we don't have pensions, we have 401ks, they're in their IRAs. I'm talking about that crew who may not need the first generation, all right? Instead of passing it down to their kids, using the ILET, all right?
So they're the ones that are setting up the SPIA now. They're turning it on even pre-R&D. You're saying
They could. You got to remember, insurance is based on age, so the sooner you do it, the better it is. But that's one of those things that you have to, A, is it important to them, and B, they love their kids, but they don't want to give them too much dough because they'll burn through it. Okay, so it's just a concept. It doesn't work in all circumstances, but where it does, it's very powerful.
taking the incoming, funding the ILET.
That's right. And you can design it to be limited pay on all that stuff. Yes. I'm sorry? Are there other tools and resources that I use? None that I have found yet, but through the American College, I'm going for another designation. Charter Advisor for Philanthropic, for philanthropy, if you can say that 3 times fast, okay? I'm going for that only because that's the space I really want to get into, because that's one of my principal values and beliefs. So of course I'm going to do it, but I'm sure the American College is going to give me some more ideas and other principles. There's where that group, if we get together, hey, here's what I just learned, and here's something that you guys may want to look into. Yeah.
Can I just share like a piece of information I think might be helpful?
Yeah.
I was with Lincoln Financial Advisors for 12 years before I went over to Securities American Executive. So I would just encourage everybody, whenever they make the announcement on this National Planning Institute that's coming from Lincoln, you ought to at least look at it and kick the tires. I can tell you from my experience when I was at Lincoln, it was the best financial planning and especially outstanding estate and legacy planning software that I ever saw. What's that called? Well, I don't know what they're going to be calling it, but Lincoln was known as the key-based financial planning firm when I was with them, and they had the most robust, awesome planning. So I'm hoping that's what we're going to be getting.
All right, so thank you very much for sharing that with us. We may have more tools coming our way in the near future. Anything else? Well, I want to thank you all for attending today. I know that I'm in competition, so thank you again. And if anyone wants to talk to me afterwards, by all means you can, all right?